Hi guys, I hope you are all well and healthy as we look at something else now on the journey of our recovery. And today I just want to bring a brief talk to us all about direction and not perfection. Direction and not perfection. And there's something really important I've come to understand in my own recovery, which is that recovery just really isn't about perfection. It's not about getting it all right and being perfect, because we're not perfect people. That's just an absolute crazy lie if you think of it, as we're going to come from a place where we've just got everything so wrong to get everything perfectly on track and on point. And that's just, we're fooling ourselves if we think like that. But it is about the direction that our lives are heading in, and that has to be and will be far greater and far better than the lives that we've been living recently, which haven't been going in the direction that we've wanted to. They've been going in the opposite direction to everything that's good. It's been going in a direction where everything is chaotic and stressful and harmful to us, and I'm sure to others that have had to watch us make really poor decisions, and we've obviously reaped the really sad reality of bad decisions in many areas of our lives that have had consequences attached to them because of our addiction. And that's just been real, that's just been honest. And for a long time I believed that if I was ever going to change my life to something more credible and something more honest than a place where I hadn't been before, because I had been dishonest a lot, then I had to get everything right from here on in, like 100% right. It had to be so right in every area. And I suppose that's just setting myself up for a fall, because that isn't reality. I had to be disciplined every day. Don't get me wrong, I'm trying to be disciplined. I'm trying to do all the right things. I'm trying to shift my life now into areas of growth and stability and structure and boundaries and all of these, integrity and all of these super important facets that I'm trying to attach into my life, which have been missing for too long. And that gives me a chance to get things right. But I'm kidding myself if I think that everything's going to be 100% right, because life don't work like that. And then I had to make all of the right decisions, and they had to be completely right. And then if I ever slipped or if I struggled, then I felt weak, and it meant I was failing in life. And again, that isn't true either. Recovery just doesn't work like that, because none of us live perfect lives. Let's be real about this. We just don't, and we never will. We all have days when we feel tired, stressed, irritable, not feeling it. There are days when we doubt ourselves and who we are as men. There are days when the old thoughts and thought patterns and struggles and habits will start to whisper again into our ear. Come back again, it's okay. We're obviously not going to be doing that. And if your standard is perfection, and if you try and put that bar as high as that level, then those days will absolutely crush us if we do that, because we're falling way short. You'll feel like you've already failed and missed the mark. It's just a fact. But direction is completely different. Let's look at this. Direction asks a much simpler question to us. And we need simple, don't we? We don't need complicated. We need simple, real, honest questions that will help us. And direction would ask us, which way is your life now moving? Which way is it moving? Is it moving forward? Is it moving backwards? Is it stuck in the middle? Are we still dealing with stuff now that we've been struggling with for many years, because we need to be moving forwards and on from those moments, and on from the blocks, if you like, and on from the stoppages that will keep us trapped and not moving forward with momentum. Are you moving forward honestly and towards honesty. So are we moving toward honesty? Really important question to ask us. Or are we moving away from that? Are we moving away from honesty? Are we moving toward responsibility now? Taking ownership and responsibility for what's happened, what we've done, the struggles and the difficulties that we faced during our addictive years? Or are we now moving and able to move away from it? Are we putting such structure and elements into our lives that we're now putting distance from our addiction? Are we moving toward the man we want to become, or backwards to the man that we used to be? Really, really simple question to ask ourselves. Recovery is built on small decisions for our lives that move you toward the right decisions in the right direction. Recovery is built on really small decisions for our lives that will move us in towards the right direction for our lives to now head into. Not perfection decisions. Let's not be silly now. We're not going to be making perfect decisions for our lives, but we just need to make really honest ones. I think we know that. And maybe today you struggled with your thoughts. Maybe today, because remember, it all comes back to our thinking. Every decision, every action we take comes from the train of thought. Think of it as a train moving in a direction. The train of thought will take our thoughts somewhere, either for good, either for bad, either for something healthy and wholesome and honest, or either away from that towards something that's destructive for us. And we don't want to be returning back to those places ever again. This is really super, super important for us. And, you know, perhaps our thoughts take us to a place, but we don't actually act on them, on those thoughts. Maybe it's taken us somewhere, you know, into that kind of grey area where we're like, well, we're tempted now and we're at a point where we could do something we don't want to do. But actually I'm able to resist. I'm able to pull back from that. But let's not ever get our thoughts toward the place where it then becomes a real temptation and a struggle. Let's put distance from that moment where we can safeguard that happening, so we're then not faced with another hurdle that we've got to really, really, really deal with. And this is where direction is important. Maybe today you felt low. Maybe today you felt really off it, but you've showed up anyway. And you've still kept your commitments to yourself and to others. It's commendable. And that's direction. That's good direction. Maybe you didn't handle something really perfectly today, you know. Maybe somebody said something to you and you snapped. You thought, I should have just bit my tongue. I should have just thought, handled it differently, you know, not been reactionary and hasn't been helpful and has maybe been harmful with our words. We can say things with our words which are harmful. We've got to be really aware of that. I've learned that a lot in my life. It's things that I've said to people have got me into loads of trouble. And, you know, things we say carry weight and power. I wish sometimes I'd not said stuff. You know, I've got myself into all sorts of mess by saying things I shouldn't have said to people, about people. If you like gossiping, it's really damaging. I'm still learning that, you know, I've got to tame what I say, be careful with what you say. We have the power of life and death in our tongue. I believe that. We've really got to be super aware of what we say and how we say it, and when we say it, and why we say it. Think about that. It's important. So maybe you didn't handle something great today or recently, and you know, but afterwards you owned it. You owned up to it. You reflected. You learned. Maybe you had to make some amends with people. Maybe you had to talk to people and say, "I've said something out of turn. I'm really sorry. I shouldn't have said that." Maybe you have to seek forgiveness from people. This is all directional learning. This is all really intentional learning. This is really important elements to how we are moving better in our direction, and our life would flow more healthily. The truth is that the men who rebuild their lives aren't the ones who live perfectly. We've just got to forget that word perfect. It's not going to help us. But they are the ones who kept correcting their direction. Not who live perfect, but who look at how their lives are moving forward and the direction it's heading in, and correcting it if you need to. They notice when something is pulling them off course. We're aware of the triggers, we're aware of the patterns, we're aware of how this thing might be skewed off course right now, or maybe going in a direction we don't want it to go. Let's pull it back, let's turn the train around. Yeah, let's move on to another track. Let's be super aware of that. Let's make these defining decisions which are so vital for our lives. Maybe there are environments that don't serve us well. I think I spoke about this in a video 2 ago about certain environments and places where we might have to not return to or go to again that won't help us mentally, physically. Maybe they're just not good places for us to return back, where perhaps our addictive patterns and behaviours could start to feel weighty again. Maybe a conversation that pulls us back into our old ways of thinking. These are all things we now need to be putting in place in our lives, and be aware of what we say, where we go, who we speak to, the friends we keep, the company we keep. These are all influences which shape us. They really are. And maybe that habit, the habit that quietly opens the door back to any old behaviours. We don't want to be opening any doors back to our old behaviour patterns that have not served us well in our life. And so we need to make small adjustments possibly to help us step back onto our path of recovery. Maybe it's not major things, maybe they'll say small little things, but enough that would trip us and trap us back to our old ways. That is recovery. It's not about perfection. It's really not. You've just got to make super smart choices and decisions that put us in a good direction where our lives can head in a healthy way and we can live healthy lives. And the longer we keep moving in the right direction, the more and more our lives will begin to change for the better. Your thinking will change, your habits will change 100%, your confidence in yourself will slightly begin to grow as we could begin to make better choices and decisions for ourselves. We'll feel better about ourselves because we're doing that. We really will. We'll feel more healthy, I think, in our thinking, in our behaviours, in our physical state. I think it will just really help us. I know it has started to help me 100%. And it's not because everything's perfect. It's because your life is now moving somewhere just far better, far healthier. Filling our minds with far healthier, more beautiful things of this world. We'll treat people better too, as well as ourselves. And when difficult days come, because there will, let's be honest, we'll have hard days. We're not exempt from that. We'll remind ourselves of something really simple. We just didn't need to be perfect today. We just needed to keep moving in the right direction and doing the right things. That's all it is, an honest decision, a steady step. That's all it requires. And over time, all these small steps, they really add up into really something quite powerful. Because what it'll be, for me and for you, it'll be a different life and different lifestyle which we have created for ourselves. And you can't put a price on that. That is the end game, a different life, a better life than we've ever had, when our addiction kept us way away from those moments where we ever thought we could get out of it. And now we are a different person, all built on direction and making those smart choices for our lives. Guys, I hope that's helped today. Maybe something I've said has triggered something really helpful for you. I'm really glad to have helped in some aspect. If you want to share this with anyone, feel free to forward it on. Just want to help people and help men make the best of the rest of their lives. That's my aim for me and for everybody else watching this. Take care. All the best. See you in the next talk.